everybody. Welcome to the Bowl with Miss Table with my friends Jazz and Vicky. And today we are going to be talking about love boundaries and choosing yourself at any age. That's why I'm wearing my aging on my own terms shirt today, little sweater. Today we are talking about love boundaries and choosing yourself at any age. This isn't a panel or an interview. It's a real conversation between three lovely women, my two friends, at different stages of our life, choosing ourselves in different ways. We're going to start with one question and let it unfold naturally, like we always do. So, my first question, so what we'll do is that I'll ask the first question and then we'll all take turns asking questions. When was the moment you realized you could no longer keep betraying yourself in the name of love or expectations?
Okay.
You want me to repeat it?
No, I think Jazz wants me to go first.
Let me go first. Yeah.
For me, it was work. As I moved into my 40s, that midlife bubble right there where you're starting to realize, you know, things that were very important to me when I was younger just aren't that important to me anymore. And the sacrifices that I was having to make to my morals and my values just to keep, climbing the corporate ladder were just really eating at me. And so I had to stop that. I had to put myself first versus, paycheck and corporate clout. It didn't mean anything to me anymore after, seeing how the sausage is made and you see all of the decisions that are made, not the what's best for the company or what's best for, the clients or the customers, but really what's best for the C-suite so that they can get their, $1 million bonuses. And I just had to walk away from that. I mean, I was laid off, true, but I made the choice to not go back to it. But I think that I was already planning to retire early because I knew I couldn't handle it anymore. And so I was actually 3 years away from what would have been my normal retirement, but I got laid off ahead of time.
That you got a bump, like
Yes,
hey,
I got the kick that I needed. It was like I could leave earlier than I had planned, but knowing that I wasn't gonna go back to that.
yeah,
I like that. Okay. For me, honestly, it was not like one dramatic moment that, made me realize that. It was an accumulation of things. Um, you know, um, a shift in my mindset. As I say, when I
Mhm.
was 45, that I started having some revelation. It was little moment where I felt like I was like invisible. I was disconnected from myself. Everything was always about putting myself last, negotiating with myself
Mhm.
to keep the peace with everyone, to be loved. Don't say no because maybe they don't like you anymore, to be accepted, not to have my crazy gray hair, dye them black, um, a lot of these things, and then one day, like, I don't know, it's age does a lot, like, I wouldn't want to go back and be 30 because no, thank you. 30, you see, searching yourself, etc. It's so tough. You don't know who you are. But there's something that comes with age where I understood that love should not require you to disappear, you
hmm.
know, to uh, otherwise it's not love. It shouldn't be endurance. It shouldn't be so hard. And when I say love, I'm not just talking about your partner. I'm talking about love, agape, brothers and sisters, friends, whatever.
Mhm.
If you have to shrink yourself to feel love, if you have to erase who you really are, you can't be you know, then that's not love. Somebody that doesn't accept you wholeheartedly as who
Mhm.
you are. If you have to pretend, wear a mask, then no, thank you. So it's not really. So I cut a lot of people off, not because I didn't want them anymore in my life, because I had to choose myself. It was not out of love. There's a lot of people in my family or friend that I'm not in touch with anymore because being with them meant that I just would not exist, you know,
Hmm.
because I had to play. Ah, no,
Mhm.
I said no. I said yes to myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if I answered to that, but yeah, yeah.
I love that. I
Sorry.
love that. Um, I think mine is obvious. And choosing myself was when I decided, when my ex asked me if we were going to break up, and I said yes. But mind you, like, it wasn't when I said yes, because we were driving. When I said yes, I hesitated. As much as I wanted it, I was so scared. But I had that voice in my head said, Kimberly, this is your time. This is the moment you got to finally get out of this. But in saying that yes, a freedom like came over me. I felt like I was released from prison, and now I am free to actually finally do the things that I love to do. Go to a little party here and there, and go and hang out with friends, and not have to be subject to, if you leave this house, don't come back. Like, I don't have to um be watching what I say, or be scared to get in an argument, or seeing something wrong because it's not going to be what he wants. So I got all that, like, trust me. Because now that obviously I'm on the other end of not having that sort of type of relationship. Even today I was thinking, like, the one was here, and I was thinking to myself, like, how lucky am I to finally be experiencing what real true love is. Somebody that really cares about if if I am sad, or if I'm mad, or and obviously yes, I do care for him too, but the fact that I finally have it, because I am telling you, people that are in controlling relationships, especially when you don't know, like, I don't think that our culture really talks about control. You hear about abuse, but
Mhm.
when I had to, I literally, because obviously I was a motivator. I'm right through my life was always the motivator, even when I was going through like a lot of shit. And I remember one day, I had that little voice in my head, the brain. I always say my brain is completely separate from me, like literally completely separate. It has its own mind of its own. Because I was in the front house one day, and I remember that obviously back in our family home, and I heard that voice in my head said, you think you're in a controlling relationship? Is there such a thing as being in a controlling relationship? You can imagine, like, this is a conversation I'm having with myself, and I'm like, is it? Because like, obviously internet wasn't like as big as it is right now, and it's not that if you could just search Google and you see a whole bunch of videos about controlling relationships. And I learned about the word narcissist and what a narcissist is, and I found out that I was actually living with one after the fact, like I was out of it, and that's why, like, I what motivated me, like, obviously, like, to do my channel and stuff. I'm probably going off topic, but yeah, I learned to choose me in when I recognize that I was in a controlling relationship, and that I need to get out of this. And then one of the things that my brain said to me, or God said to me inside of me, God, part of you, was, you need to start taking your own advice. So what I started to do was, if he did something, I'll ask myself, if this was a friend, what would you tell her? And exactly what you would tell her, you do that. Because we always know for everybody else, but we don't ever know for ourselves. We'll tell somebody, you mad? Like, don't ever let him treat you like that, or don't let him get away with that. But then we'll take it. Like, we'll do, what we would tell friends not to put up with. So I started to think, but the day that, for me, that I would say I really chose myself, was the day that I said, when he said, do you want to break up? I'm like, yeah. Like, I was like, yes. And even when he came back many times after that and said, because we were still living in the same family house, I was real stupid to think, well, we break up, but we have a child. We could probably, this house is massive. We could share it, share rent, save, like, literally, like, because I was naive like that. That was I went through a hell of a year, but yeah, the breakup for me was it, because I really did find myself. Like the work that I had to do, yes, after that, and
Mhm.
that led me like to a day like today where I have friends like you all, and like I could think for myself, and I'm not scared to you know speak my mind
Mhm.
and have to when I feel sorry now for people that are in those situations and they don't know how to get out because they don't know how to choose themselves. Because they don't know how to walk away because they probably don't have the support system. Because a lot of people feel like just because you grow up with family or that you actually have a support system, and a lot of people don't.
Mhm.
A lot of people too, women, we are ashamed to say that we failed in choosing the wrong person. So then we don't open our mouths and say like, I'm in trouble, help me. Because a lot when people found out um that we were broke up, they were shocked. Like, really? Yeah, we're like the perfect couple, y'all. You never complain, whatever. But I think it's a little pride and
Mm.
a little of my grandmother in me of whatever happens at home stays at home, that type of thing. But I think that could really bite you in the backside.
Yes.
you and not expressing. So yeah, I know I went long-winded, but this really sparked a lot of things, a lot of memories of things, because I was never anyone to choose me.
Mhm.
It's an important topic because my light went off. And I think this is why your channel is so important, Kim. That's why I keep saying, because of your lived experience, and it's so taboo for women to talk about it. And
Yes.
you give permission to women on your channel, you know, to talk about it. You went through it. They know when they come to you, they can trust you. And it's important, it's needed because so many women suffer in silence, you know.
Yes.
So, yeah, yeah. Vicky, do you want me to go this time?
Oh, I went
Yeah.
first.
Oh, you went first? Did you already go? You
Oh,
want to
you mean
go?
ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
think the
did we already all answer?
we all answered.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My answer was too long. That's why my answer was like too long. Sorry.
Okay, so then I'll ask you ladies the next question then. So, as we've gotten older, what have you done to separate who you truly are from what you were expected to be?
Ooh, ouch. This is heavy. Mama mia.
How,
Okay. I, I,
That's what these are. These are heavy, real talk questions.
yeah.
Could you say
I,
that again, Vicky? How have we?
How have you, as you've gotten older, what have you done to help separate who you truly are from the person people have expected you to be?
Oh,
wow. I love this question, ladies. Like, I'll answer. I don't know what's happening with my light, guys. We're gonna have to play hide and seek all night.
She's got
But
light ghosts.
I know. So, guys, I'm so sorry. You'll hear me coughing and blow my nose, but hey, we're between friends here.
yeah.
Yes.
So, as we get older, how do we separate who we truly are? Wow.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
The person
From what
that you
people expected you
expected.
to be.
this is a
Oh,
powerful
can I
question.
answer? Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness. Yeah.
I could do this.
I have to go back to my culture and where I'm from. Being
Mm-hmm.
a woman born in Africa, grew up in Europe, you have like a duality of culture, you know. A woman in Africa and a woman in Europe on the same, don't have the same culture. And culture weighs a lot. That is a difficult, it's difficult to understand what's really you and what's the culture or society expects you to be as a woman and family as well. I know, again, I will come back to that aha moment for me of revelation. You know, for very long, my identity was I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, I'm everything else, but I am not. Like I am does not exist. Like I couldn't talk as for myself. My all those hats were me, but I was lost. So as we get older, how do we separate? I think when you get to a certain age, after the kids have grown, and you see that with a lot of women with the empty nest. Is that how we
Mhm.
call it? The empty
Yep.
nest.
Hmm.
The kids are gone. Please, ghost, can you stop playing with my light? The kids are gone, and you're like, you don't know what to do with yourself anymore, because your time was so about the children, the husband, everyone else but you. You don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know your color. You don't know what you love. You don't know even what food you like, because you will eat what everyone else eat because everybody is first. And now, when you are alone, like me as a traveler, I don't know if I'm answering to that question because this is so deep. As we get older, I think the older you get, the more you come to truly separate this.
Hmm.
Because when you are a young couple, or young, you're busy looking after your kid, or if you don't have kid, you are in your career, that's French, career.
Yeah, career. Mhm.
Correct. Oh, thank you. Pronounce it for me. Oh, that's lovely. You know,
You
and
were right, actually.
Yeah.
but you're
You kept
busy with,
changing it.
yeah, I'm trying to pronounce it properly. So you're trying to do all these things to be a good employee, like Vicky, you talking a lot about, Kim, you about being like a wife, a good mom, and all of these things. But there's no you in there.
Hmm.
But when you get older, the noise goes down a little bit. I think you're more assertive also about who you are. And you get so much more time on your hand when the kids are not anymore small, to like look at yourself, face yourself more often, and like who I am. It came with me when I travel solo. That's a great way to discover yourself and go towards you. Because when you travel solo, there's nobody there for you. There's no noise around you but you. You have to face yourself and like, what I discover what I like as a traveler, being with the locals and not maybe just going to the we might just stay like that. Just may, not maybe not going all the time to the museum, to the art site. You know what I do with my husband and my kids, right? I discover who I was as a traveler, as a woman, as what my favorite color, what the food that I like, when I was by myself. And I started paying attention to what felt right for me. What were the situation where I felt that I have to perform, you know, and when I felt free to just be me. I don't know. I think age, Vicky, that question again, how do you separate? Or you
Yeah, as you
truly,
got older, how do you separate who you are from who you were expected to be?
yeah. I think the real me, it's me just today. Feel lighter, I feel free to wear my hair as I want, to put things on my hair if I want to wear this instead of forcing myself wearing like gold thing that were gonna burn my skin because of a keloid skin, to wear earrings because I think that a woman should be wearing earrings, or wearing shoes that hurt my feet even if they're smaller. Today I only wear trainers, you know. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, letting go of all these expectations, and it frees you completely. I don't know if I've answered to that. Just trying to explain a little
You
bit
were
how it
passionate
was
in
for
your
me.
answer.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's age.
But
It
I think
helps
you
you.
answered though.
Eh?
In most ways, you answered.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Age helps you a lot. Separate.
So my answer is gonna be out the box, and a lot of people watching this might not like it. So I'm sorry
It's
if
okay.
if my answer offends you, but this is true story. I gotta say true story.
Mhm.
Um, so what I was expected to be. I'll talk about what I was expected to be the girl in the church, the husband, and have like, she's just obeys our orders, that every single rule that you're supposed to obey, whatever, whatever, until the day that my cousin died at 38. She was either 38 or 36, one of them, but she was in her 30s, a virgin, and she lived her life for the church. She lived her life for everybody else except her, and she never even had like a Wells like one night stand. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was lost to everything else that set her. Sorry, it was like like you're thinking of. She didn't even have like a younger years, and in at her funeral, I think I shared this in another video we think we had, but at her funeral, I made that decision that I'm done living my life to please my husband at the time. I'm done living my life to please the church. I'm done living my life to please people. I am going to be Kimberly, like it or lump it. So I decided I was going to come out of my religious box. And when I decided I was going to come out of my religious box, I didn't know what this meant for me. But I knew that if I asked my higher part of me to help me, to show me how to get out of this religious box, out of this box of rules and, just living my life for all these other people. And I'm unhappy. I'm overweight at this point. And when I say overweight, yes, I was overweight. Jase is probably going to say, like, where, Kimberly? I was overweight. And when I say overweight, like, when I had, at this point, I had two pregnancies. So, like, when I was big belly, big backside. So I was like, I was pointing in every area. And, and I was 20, I was in my 20s, like 20 something, and unhappy. So when I made that decision, coming out of my religious box, when you decide to do something, things happen to see if you're really serious about what you say. Mm-hmm. So that was around Halloween time at work. So I used to work in a hotel, and I was part of the kids section. And so we used to do Halloween parties and stuff. So we used to dress up for Halloween. And this was the first year that my boss finally got all of us costumes. Did she? No, this was not the first year she got us costumes. This is the first year that I decided to wear a costume, because I used to not wear a costume because of religious reasons, right? Anyhow, and she didn't get the costumes. One of the girls that worked with us, she stopped by a store right before work, and she picked up all of our sizes that were left, because it was Halloween was going to be like the next day. And she was like, let's say that my boss name was Susan. Susan didn't get us our costumes, so therefore I went and bought, and I brought my receipt, because I used to do the accounting, putting the invoices and stuff like that. And she was like, I'm gonna get my money back, but I definitely want to dress up. And then it was short notice, so my boss then called the makeup artist. When the makeup artist came and saw that I had this nice cute red dress, she decided to, I wish I could find the picture now. She decided to dress me up as a little devil. So I had like these horns on my head. She was so good. I looked like a sexy devil. Or what people will call devil. Anyhow, red lipstick, full makeup, two nice fake horns, but they look real. If I find a picture, I'll add it. I'll actually put it up, because I have a picture that I took with a friend. I'll blur her face and I'll put it up. Anyhow, and at this point, I haven't gone to church in weeks, but I had an old Facebook account. I don't have that Facebook account anymore, but I had an old Facebook account. And when we took that picture, I just posted up. I was like, coming on a religious box, I posted my picture, whatever. If I could tell you, if I had that account still, if I could have only shared the nasty things that the people from the church was able to tell me. Nobody checked on me when I was not going to church for weeks. Nobody checked to see if if I was going through something financially, if I needed
Mhm.
food, if I needed clothing, if my marriage was all right, if I was sick or nope. But I put on a little costume for work. So the guests at work were happy. I mean, I got praise for my costume. The guests were like, "Oh my god, Kimberly, look at last night!" And all the kids too. For some reason that year dressed up the same way as me. Not they didn't have the horns, but they had like the little red cane. I guess the devil was out that year. Because everybody came like all dressed up and stuff. So the kids were like, "Kim, you look like us. You're like the queen of us," and and stuff. And they spent a lot of parents spent so much money that year because Halloween was so good. We got a good review that year for our department, but I got a nasty response from the church people and how I am this and the next and the third and the fourth and blah 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 blah. And in that moment, you know what it showed me? That choosing to come out of my religious box to not live for these people, that all they care about is what you look or what something looks like, or they're always ready to judge you. But who are you to judge me? You can judge me if you choose, but you and God, you didn't create not one shit on this earth. Like we think that we create children, but it's the sperm and the egg or whatever that comes together. We're just the bearers of it. We didn't create shit. Not even our eggs we created. We were blessed with them. So and that moment showed me like what I was doing was right, choosing me. And from then on, like I was like just done. I haven't gone back to a church since then. Well, obviously, if people died, I did go to funerals, but not in that sense. I walked away from religion and I decided to get into spirituality, where I deal with God within me and I follow, living my life by love and those types of things. And around that same time too is when I started to exercise. And my ex-husband wanted to ask me, I think he asked me one time, like, "You think I want you to exercise?" And I had to tell him, everything I do doesn't have to revolve around you. Because people feel it because we name women that we're supposed to be whatever they want. No. I guess I'm so grateful. I'm so sad my cousin died. But for me, it was a blessing because she opened my eyes to show me that choosing me is more important than living my life to please everybody else and killing my soul inside. Because, we put ourselves on the back burner a lot and we deserve so much more. So anybody watching this and you're putting yourself on the back burner, I would not cuss right here. The word that came to my head. But I'll say, stop. Don't stop putting yourself on the back burner. Learn to choose you, and whatever box you may not have to a religious box you're coming out of, but whatever box you need to get out of from being that people pleaser, get out of it. Figure it out. And we have all the answers inside. You don't need to ask anybody, not even me. That's my answer.
Good.
I don't know how to follow that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Jess?
I said, how old were you then? 20,
Um,
20s?
Yeah, I was in my 20s, like probably like 26 or so. I can't remember, but I was in my 20s though.
Yeah,
When I
that's a
tried
hard
to
lesson
figure
to learn
out,
at that
you'll-
age.
huh?
It's a hard lesson to learn at that age.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I by that time though, Jazz, to be honest, I've been through so much in my life. I mean, I have been through ups and downs from the time my grandmother died when I was 13, going 13, 12, going 13 years old. She died in September. My birthday was in December. and she died in what, let's say she died last year. The next year, my uncle was like wanting, like basically kick us out of the house. So I had to be living by this person and that person, and you know, I had somebody that used to interfere with me while I sleep, and I was so scared to even like, you know, like react or whatever, because trust me, that was nothing easy to go through,
Yeah.
and to know that none of my family, because I was a black sheep, none of my family used to say, well, you know, my grandmother left two girls, you know, let's check up and see, let's get them to live by us or whatever. Just, you know, there's no way that I should have been asking people to live by them, and I'm in my teenage years in
Yeah.
school. I needed parents, I needed adults, and it's only because of my pride that I didn't end up as one of those girls that go and, you know, be with men, and too much pride. um,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Served you then.
Mhm.
Good.
yeah,
Good.
it did.
Yeah. All right.
Like I said, I can't follow this.
Sorry.
I say, mic drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, for me, it was like what Jazz was saying. Just, you know, as I get older and learning that I don't need to shrink for other people. That
Yeah.
you know, growing up, you know, youngest of 6 kids, having sick parents, always trying to keep the peace, and it just followed me, you know, into my career. It followed me into my marriage, and then just one day I like had this epiphany, like, why am I shrinking for everybody? Why am I trying to keep the peace? Because none of my needs are getting met. And you know, I had to have that come to Jesus discussion with everybody: work, home, family, you know, siblings, mom, everybody. And just, you know, start putting myself out there and saying, you know, I can't keep the peace anymore, because
Yeah.
in keeping the peace for everybody else is happy. I'm freaking miserable.
Yeah.
You know, I was good in school at you know how when you're good at something, everybody thinks you're supposed to be that. And so that's how I ended up being in accounting. I didn't like it. I was just good at math. I was good at math because I tried to keep the peace, and I tried to get good grades and do good at school so I wouldn't upset my sick parents. And so all these things just kept following me, and my life just wasn't my life. And, you know, people ask me, you know, well, you used to be a musician. I was a musician not because I wanted to be a musician. I was a musician because I needed to prove something to my brother that girls could be a musician. Um, and that was it. And I think it was like Jazz said, like, you know, you start to get into those late 30s, early 40s, and you start to realize this life I've built and designed, who the heck's life is this? Because it ain't nothing I ever wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Yeah.
And, you know, and that was around the time where I started to see we needed to move back home to be closer to family. And everything that we did was like, it seemed like it was just designed because, yeah, you're supposed to have the big house. Why do we need a big house? We don't even have any kids. Why do we need a big house? It's just the two of us. You know, my dog had his pick of rooms. So yeah, I was just really looking inside and saying, I don't want this big house. I want to be closer to my mom. You know, I don't like this job, but it pays well, and I don't want to start over. So if I can just live with the crap and retire at 58 and a half, then I'll be okay. And 58 and a half is like, it's not retirement age, but Michael was going to be retirement age that same year at 59 and a half. So I'm like, I'm not going to work if he's not going to work. So we're going to retire at the same year. But just at that point going, none of this is what I wanted. None of this even feels like me. And it's just time to kind of just figure out what that is and let it be what it is. And there's a saying that when you cut a tree from its roots, it dies. And that's exactly what happened to me. I never got a chance to plant my roots, and I just felt like I was living in a dead tree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. That image.
Yeah.
That image.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ladies, we're getting like quite deep here. It's important to
Yeah,
share this, you know.
it
I
is.
think it's part of
I-
healing.
yes.
Not only that, I feel like if this is more of a conversation with us and like a forgetting of we're actually recording a video here.
No, because we're getting real, you know, we're talking
Yeah.
about lived experiences, not stories. It's our experiences, and I think it can talk to a lot of women, a
Mhm.
lot of people in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they say if you can see her, you can be her. But the other thing
Yeah,
is if you hear other people went through what you're going through, you don't feel so alone. You don't feel so ashamed or
yeah,
stupid, in your
yeah,
decisions because you see, wow, I wasn't the only one.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, you know, yeah, love that. Okay, okay, I think it's my turn. You ready, ladies?
I think so.
All right. It's a very easy question. So let me check my little note here. What helped you trust yourself enough to choose a life that didn't make sense to everyone else? Let me repeat that. What helped you choose yourself enough to choose a life that didn't make sense to everyone else?
Yeah, that one's not easy. It's still another deep one.
Yeah,
I
Uh,
can think of what helped me. Um, what was the last part? You said what helped me? What helped you to trust yourself enough?
to choose a life that didn't make sense to everyone else. You know, like to choose a life that in your own term, on your own term, not on everyone else's term.
Ooh, I, that one for me is simple. With that question, it makes me think of when I left my ex and excluded myself from everybody I knew. Every single person that I knew was not a part of my life anymore. And people just probably thought that I was just a bum, like literally. And I guess that also showed me the true friends I had, like the people that were going to be there for me even when I came out of that, because I knew I had to exclude myself from all of them so that he can't find me. And I was real paranoid. I watched too much Lifetime movies to make that stupid mistake. I watched too much Lifetime movies, I'm telling you. Uh, so, for me, when I left him, I did not, I would say that, yes, I chose me in that moment. But at the same time, I had to choose me even more, not only leaving him, but departing from the friends that we had together. Because, people talk and how good narcissistic personalities are, they will get anybody to be on their side. I lost a whole best friend because of him. Like, literally, the girl that said to me, Kimberly, you know that you're a single mother and you have a husband. You know that he is very controlling.
Mhm.
Like the girl that actually made what I was thinking in my head a reality. She was like, because I would never forget when the day when she said to me, why she wants to tell me something, but she doesn't want me to get upset. That's when she told me that I was a single mother or whatever. And now that after like years of obviously probably a few years of not hearing me and not being present in her life, and then two of them they kind of work in the same workplace now. Someone told me that they saw them all nice and talking together. So it's amazing that how somebody was the bestest friend to you,
Mhm.
and then the narcissist got them. So that's what happens, which made me. I'm grateful though that moment in time happened with me leaving him and also leaving everybody else, because now the people that I still have in my life that was friends with me and him, um, and they're now my friends. It showed me who was really there and truly there for me in the end of it all. Like, no matter what he says, no matter what story he told them or whatever, they
Mhm.
didn't care because they knew me. I had a friend that said to me, I saw what you did, but I was willing to give you the space that you needed because, I figured that you were going through something, and I know that I know how your personality is, so I gave you that space, and that for me is a true friend. I forgot the question. See, now my head. I,
It's okay.
whatever the question was, it really like just sparked that part of
But that's with real conversation, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
There's a question, but then, whatever
Yep.
comes. Yeah, whatever inspired you at the moment's fine. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's my answer. Did I answer it? I don't know.
you did. You did.
Yeah. I think for me it was the realization that everybody's going to have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And just because everybody has an opinion doesn't mean I have to let that be how I live. I didn't do that in the earlier part of my life. I did that in the later part of my life. So, like people who had an opinion about us downsizing. Why would you want to give up the big, beautiful McMansion and move back to a fixer-upper? Why would you, why don't you drive a better car? Why don't you this? Why don't you that? And it was like, you know, I I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And even to this day, I still have that same car that everybody says I should have gotten rid of. I call her baby, and baby is actually going to be 26 years old in April. And but baby is to me my pride and joy. She was the decision that showed me that my bad decisions are actually good decisions. Yeah, because I bought an SUV right when gas prices went up.
Our,
but but when I look at her, she reminds me of my maturity because I got her. I didn't get rid of her because she was paid for. And so because I don't have a car payment, then I can afford the gas. But the other thing was when I look at her and I say, okay, she's 26 years old. I didn't replace her. She wasn't something that had to be replaced every 3 to 4 years for the next new thing. And because I didn't replace her, I have this life that I have. I
Mhm.
got rid of car payments. I could save money. I could invest what I would have done with that. She gets me to and from. She she's just like this. To me, she's my definition of that was when I chose myself. And because I keep choosing her, I keep choosing myself. You know, I can't change the past, but she is a reminder that all of my past didn't suck. She's carried me through floodwaters. She's carried me through accidents. She's just been, my stalwart. And so trusting, seeing that I trusted myself in her, I can trust myself with the rest of my life. And I, like I said, it's probably not the answer you wanted to hear, but since Kimberly was so deep, I had to go someplace else.
that's fine. That's fine. And mine would be. Oh, sorry. Are you?
Yeah,
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
Yeah. Mine would be a bit similar to that in the sense where okay, what was the question? What helped you trust yourself enough to choose a life that didn't make sense to everyone
Mhm.
else? I think that was my entire life because it feels like Kim was talking about being the, how do you call it, the dark sheep or the
Yes.
Black.
weakling, the black sheep.
Yeah.
I've always been the black sheep of my family, you know. And it's when I stopped waiting for anyone's validation of my life to take my
Mhm.
own decision, you
Mhm.
know. When if you see that, she's gonna insult me, but that's fine. When I started coming on YouTube, one of my sisters sent me a message and called me. She's like, "You look old. Why your hair look like that? You don't look clean. You need to dye your hair black. You know, you're not presenting yourself well." But that's her projection. And she's like, "Stop telling your age. You know, no, not everyone need to know that you're 50." She doesn't like telling her age. She wants to still be told that she's 20. She doesn't want to grow old. So me being gray, people project their fear onto
Yes.
you.
Yes.
You know? And the thing is, for us here on social media, us who are putting ourselves out there, people will criticize us. On my French channel, I had someone, the video did so well. Today it's I don't know how many views, but there was two comments. Guys, I went frantic trying to reply and make a answer, a video response. And then I went to Chatty GPT, my friend. It's like, look, I want to answer to this and that. And then it's like, these people just want attention. And then it came to me, it's like, there's maybe 98 or 97% of people who loved the video and liked it. There was two people that didn't like, right? Out of I don't know how many hundred of people that liked it.
Mhm.
So it's to stop. And these people certainly, it was not even about what I was saying. I had a whole video and somebody stopped I was talking about the fact that I brought from Dubai a whole kitchen with marble. The marble got them on fire. For them, it was like I was maybe showing off or saying that I can have marble. The video was not about that.
Right.
So, people put their limit on you, and I think I started trusting myself, listening to what makes me happy. I forgot the question.
Which question did
What makes
Just
me
keep going with what you're saying.
exactly, So it's like there's things that I cannot tolerate today anymore, right? We know as women, I'm saying as women, certainly men have their own thing as well going on. But as women who have that sixth sense, we have that gut feeling. We know when something is I want to use a word I don't know, inherently wrong. We know when something is not for us. We know when something doesn't fit, doesn't align with who we are. There's something that disturbs us inside, isn't there?
Mhm.
When we listen to it, we're listening to who we really are, right? And I started trusting this feeling, and then that helped me really to do what I really wanted and not what everyone else wanted. And now, honestly, you're not happy with the way I've lived my life. Good for you. It's not my business. What you think of me is not my business. Thank you. Sorry, I'm going all.
Yeah, because everyone is gonna have their opinion. And
Yeah.
I actually had to shut someone down once because, like I said, when we downsized, someone asked me, "Why would you want to give up a big, beautiful house to come to this?" Oh no, it was, "Why would you let Michael make you get rid of your big, beautiful house to come and live in this neighborhood to be closer to his parents?" And I said, "I don't know who told you that, but you need to go back and tell that person they're not me. And if you want information about me, you will come to me. And I don't owe you an explanation on why I'm here, but what you just said is not why I'm here."
Yeah, that's exactly. Anyway, people make a whole life story
Mhm.
in their head that they don't know anything, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because we came back. We moved to Michael's hometown, which
Yeah.
is across the street from my hometown. So we're basically where we are. We were within a 3-mile radius of all of our family.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
yeah.
don't try to put off that Michael made me give up my big beautiful house.
Mm.
That Michael made me give up my life. I was the one that told him this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after a year of me telling him this is what we're doing, he finally got on board because he was coming back whether he wanted to or not.
He just didn't know
he just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's when we talk, it's funny how we can go from a serious to a silly back to a serious, then we go, oh yeah, we're all in all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
I may have to do a video about my baby though, because she's 26. I don't know how much.
Actually, Vicky, before I put this question on the screen, that is for I'll put up the question while I tell you this. So put a question on the screen for y'all to answer any comments, for the viewers to answer any comments. And Vicky, your baby, I have an aunt and an uncle that they had their cars. Since I was a little girl, I'm pushing 40 now. Mm-hmm. Like they had their cars long before I was born. Mm-hmm. Never changed them. And my aunt was this big time accountant. So she lives in this massive house. And my uncle, he had a really, really good job too. And I used to always wonder, why do they choose to drive out these old cars? But they would never get rid of them. My uncle's retired now and still has that car.
It's funny because when Michael got his job that he's with this company now, because he's been there for so many decades, they gave him a company car. So he had a car, he had a truck, I had a car. So we're like got 3 cars and we're like playing round robin in the driveway with them. And then one day I was driving home from work in my little car and it was raining and this truck drove by and it made a wave that went over my car. So I was basically blind for several seconds. I couldn't see. And that scared me. So I started driving his truck to work because it was taller. But then when he was a musician and he needed his truck to haul things on those days, I couldn't use the truck. And I was like scared now to drive my car now in the rain. So we made a pact that he was a musician. He didn't like his stuff being in the back of an open truck. I needed to drive something taller. So we sold both cars and bought baby. Mm-hmm. And we made a pact that he wouldn't schedule anything when I needed to drive to work and stuff. And so I think also too, that was also me asserting myself saying, I don't feel safe in my car. I need something better. And me not just, because everybody was telling me, it's just all in your head. It's just all in your head. No, you weren't the one driving and not being able to see.
Yeah.
Don't diminish me being scared.
Correct. Yeah. No.
And so baby is like my first stand-up moment.
Yeah.
And I think I would have bought I probably would have bought a second truck, if Michael didn't come to that realization with me that, we don't really need 3 cars, we just need 2. And actually we only need 1 car because you get a company car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been 28 years that he's had a company car. So we've only ever had to have 1. So when baby was paid for, I'm like, as long as I can keep her alive. Yeah. And she doesn't cost me that much to keep her alive. It's just that now it's getting harder to find parts to keep her alive.
What you're explaining is remind me of the book The Millionaire Next Door. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you read it. Yes. I asked my kids to read it. It's like people don't understand. All these people following the Jonases and trying to all have brand new car they can't afford, that's not theirs. Mm-hmm. That are, the bank, and trying to have bigger house and live in a 20-bedroom house and 3 people. All of this is just, what's that word that I'm trying to look for?
It's vanity. It's vanity metrics. And everybody trying to be Instagram perfect and have the influencer life.
They like to look like if.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Look like if I got a lot of money. Look like if.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when I was single. So I left my ex and this was around COVID. It was walking. I used to do a lot of walking back then, like on the street because I was in Barbados.
Uh-huh.
Get early on morning, go walking. And this guy that I used to work with, he put up in this big truck, and I think because I don't know, these are things that piss me off, but people don't know they piss me off. He puts it in his truck, and like he's making sure if people do things like sorry, like you definitely will want me because I got this big fancy car, and I told a friend after I saw this guy, I was like, you know what was annoying me? Because then afterwards he was like, where do you live around here? Because I can always come and shout you or say hi or whatever. I was like, it's okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, he's such an expense. I had one of those. I don't want one of those back.
Mm-hmm.
An expense, when I say someone is an expense, is when the job does not match the financial burden that you have of a vehicle that you're driving. So therefore, you're an expense because when I come
Mm-hmm.
together with you, like you're an expense because then I can't save or whatever or move forward in life because you have all these expenses. You like to look like F. And I used to always promise myself I had to look like F ex-husband, and I don't want one of them again. But I went to the extreme now because I have a for sure saver. Laurent will have a no car and
Mm-hmm.
prefer to have money than
We looked like if, but we didn't spend that kind of money. Yeah, we had a
yeah.
big, beautiful house, but we moved 30 miles away where houses were 1/4 of what they would have cost me someplace else, which
Yeah.
means that what I was paying for my house, people out here were paying 4 times as much to have that same type of house. And so
Yeah.
I think that I really love the fact that we've
Yeah,
always been we've
so,
always been that kind of way.
yeah.
And I'll never forget, I have so she's technically my aunt, but she's younger than me because my grandfather had a second marriage and had more kids after my mom. But so she one time came in and she asked me to buy her a Louis Vuitton purse. And I said, no. And she said, why? I said, I don't have a Louis Vuitton purse. Why would I buy you a Louis Vuitton purse? She goes, yeah, but don't you want better for me? I said, yeah, and that's exactly why I'm not buying it for you. Because if I buy it for you, you didn't earn it. You're not going to take care of it. You're going to always expect to always have Louis Vuitton. But if you work for it, you know what? You'll probably buy it once. And then you'll realize that my Target purse that cost me $14.99 gets you just the same amount of carriage and storage as that Louis Vuitton purse. And she was like, oh, I can't believe that. I'm like, yeah, I am not going into debt so that I can say I got 7,000 purses.
Wow.
Right.
That is so smart.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
is
I've always been that way. And like I
yeah.
said, I look like if, I don't spend if.
Yeah. 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 And that's being very, very smart. Yeah. That's my
I
way of
guess
being
you
too.
remember you was an accountant. So for us that does the numbers, ain't no way that we do spend a lot of money
The
unless
funny
it
thing
makes
about the funny thing about it was my grandfather. My grandfather, he never gave me anything. And to this day, I thank him for that. If I asked him for something, it was what was I going to do to earn it?
Mm-hmm.
And so one time I was working and I needed tires and it was supposed to rain. And so I went to him and I said, Grandpa, can you do me a favor? Could you front me the money so I can get these new tires and I'll pay you in 5 days when I get paid. I don't want to be driving around in these tires. He said,
Yeah.
fine. We went and we got the tires and he put my car in his garage till I paid him back. So I had to catch the bus to work for 5 days.
Wow, I love that.
But those are the lessons that I'm glad I had.
Yeah, for me too is like that for me that is like real love. When somebody really teaches you a lesson and
Mhm.
makes sure
Yeah.
your responsibility, like that is like real good love right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Laurent doesn't buy anything unless he can actually pay for it cash. He doesn't like to pay down for anything unless he can buy it cash. He is
Mhm.
not like, let me tell you, he really, I do accounting. I'm not, don't let me handle money. I was done. I had, when I first met him, he was like, listen, you need to get rid of this. You need to stop paying for that. You need to get rid of this. You need to lower that. And in the first month that we were together was the first time I've ever saved money in my entire life.
Wow, that
Mhm.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because he doesn't like that. He doesn't do loans. Because of him, I got to pay off my credit card and close that down. And I'll never have a credit card in my life ever again. I don't care how good people say they are, not for me. If I don't got the money to buy it, I ain't buying it. But yeah, he's really, really good. So I understand 100% Vicky. Because when I met him, he was driving a really good car, but he owned it. Like he bought that car cash. You know, he was living in his apartment looked nice too, and he had some really nice things in there, but everything he bought was cash. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely choosing you. You're choosing your future versus
Yeah.
the instant gratification of I've got the brand new iPhone. I'm sorry, but if you get a brand new iPhone, you're getting a new phone every year. That's not sustainable.
No.
Okay, I'll stop talking now.
No,
I'll hand it back to Kimberly.
All right. What happened is that this conversation is so good, but we have meet the hour.
Yeah.
I actually had one more question. You guys want to do one more question, or you want me to just close it?
I think it was a question. You had a question for the viewers, so I say go ahead.
The viewers, you had whatever you put for the viewers, put it out there. That's fine, and they can reply to us in the comments.
Right. So the question for the viewers was, where in your life are you still choosing others over yourself? Yeah. So you could put it in the comment section. And if not, if you don't want to share it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
no pressure.
You can also think of it for yourself as well and work on it. I'm sure we definitely probably shared something in that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did certainly do that.
Yes.
I think it's nice for our viewer to self-reflect with that question. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we come to closing this lovely, deep session that we had today, Jase and Vicki, do you want to share anything before we go?
Jase, you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay, guys, I have a new series on the channel called I Date Myself Monthly. Okay. Last month I went to the cinema. This month I'm wearing red because it's Valentine. So I've decided my date this month is going to be Valentine. So I went to get myself a few things. Okay. You can't see, you won't be able to see. You're not supposed to see anyway. Okay. Because it's going to be a surprise from that episode. Oh, I don't know what was that. A surprise from that episode. So I invite you to follow up that series on the channel. It's going to be once a month. Dating yourself. And why I'm talking about that, because the episode today is love, boundary, choosing yourself. Okay. And this is what this series is about. It's about loving me, the boundaries are there, choosing me and not, over everyone else, doing things for everyone else and forgetting me, and choosing me by dating me. Okay. So please, the next episode is going to be soon. And I just wanted to share that because I'm so excited about that series. And I'm going to try to have it done on the 14th of February because I'm going to be my own Valentine. That's all I had to say.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I just want to say that my channel is all about aging and preparing for aging. And if you haven't, stepped over the channel, come on over because I'm doing monthly prompts to help you really think about aging in a completely different way than you've ever thought about it. Like Jase says, it's not about wrinkles. It's not about gray hair. It's just about setting yourself up so that you choose you today so that tomorrow, all that stuff is there for you.
I love that. And your last journal prompt that I watched was so good.
I know.
Inspired me like, Kimberly, you need to step up your game now.
I want the journal. I want to buy the journal. It's so good. By the way, guys, we all have merch. Like Vicki has the journal prompt. She has the journal.
It matches your unapologetically.
And
everyone's wearing my merch. I feel so honored.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So check under the description, and we all have something to share.
Yes. And we
Um,
all have discount codes, so we'll put the discount codes for you.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to
Only
buy.
available to people who watch these videos.
I think for me, for 2026, this is just being rawly me. You know, Jazz, you were talking about, just doing that no edit for some time. For
We need to
me,
do that this year.
when I say no edit, for me is some videos will be no makeup, hair probably all over the place. I just want to have
Yeah.
that sort of like come into my space type of feeling. If it hits my brain, I'm going to pick up my camera, even if my microphone isn't on. Well, normal microphone, and I just use my phone. I'm just gonna just do me. That's the plan going forward. So I do have some videos that I do look a mess, but that's what I plan to come forward with in 2026. It's not about making it harder. It's about really sharing the wisdom that my brain comes up with. I say my brain because I say it's separate from me. Comes up with to take it and just share it so that I can help somebody. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you, Vicki, for joining me on this session today. And I actually got to, lead it. And I love how deep we went today, and I really look forward for more of our conversations because these are getting deeper and deeper as we meet. And I think they're also letting us learn about each other too, and I love
Yeah.
that. So as we close, if there is one thing I hope that you take from this conversation, it's choosing yourself isn't something you age out of. It's something you grow into. You're allowed to change, you're allowed to want more, and you're allowed to choose a life that feels like yours. No matter where you are, you're not behind. You're not wrong for wanting more. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be brave, be strong, and be you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next month. And
See you next-
subscribe to all 3 channels.
Yes.
We have
And
a lot to share.
like the video too and share. Okay. Bye, guys.